The problem is that too many of us end up trapped in the rat race and feel as though there's no way that we can break free. Partly this is because we want to get that sense of achievement and status from our jobs, which I'll come to in a moment. Moreover, though, it's because we think we need to live up to the money. As soon as you start earning a certain amount of money, you'll probably change your lifestyle within your quote means. If you're earning $50,000 a year, then you'll probably find yourself taking on a mortgage that costs more than if you were earning $30,000 a year. Likewise, you'll probably buy more gadgets and more toys, and you'll probably go out more and go on holiday more. That's the dream the way it's sold to us, but then the reality kicks in. Your lifestyle costs so much that you're now completely reliant on your job to support it. Therefore, you can't make the decision to work less or take a pay cut because then you'd end up in debt. If there were things you wanted but you couldn't afford, then you might already be in debt. Likewise, you're probably working so hard that you don't really have time to watch that new widescreen TV or play all those new computer games. And also, more important things like your health and your relationship with your family are falling by the wayside. So let's rewind for a moment and reassess. Why not buy a smaller house on that $50,000 salary? Let's say it has one less bedroom. It's a two bed instead of a three bed. You may not now be able to have that home gym, and you might have to move home if you ever have three kids. But you're now completely free from the stress that comes with earning only just enough to maintain your current lifestyle. That means you can spend more money on traveling and going on holiday. It means you can take on an easier job with less stress. And it means that you can visit friends, paint, write, read, exercise. Why don't more people make this decision? Of course, you might decide that all you care about is that home gym and you need three bedrooms. But in that case, you can probably find other areas to cut costs to focus on that one thing that is truly important to you. What most of us don't realize is that it is possible to get what we want right now. It's within your means. Let's say, for example, that you want to travel more and so you're trying to climb your career path to earn the money that you need to go traveling. Except that the more money you earn, the more responsibilities you take on, and the harder it is to take a career break. And the older you get, the more commitments you have elsewhere in your life. It's never a good time to travel. So, you know what? You should just do it now. And there are plenty of ways to do it cheaply thanks to budget airlines, Airbnb, and more. My recent trip to Switzerland, for example, cost me all of $50, or the equivalent in British pounds. I live in the UK, so an EasyJet flight cost me barely anything, and I was able to get it even cheaper because I'm fortunate enough to know a pilot. A return flight cost about $20, and we booked the accommodation one night with Airbnb. It was an incredible cabin on the side of a beautiful mountain in Siskikon. And I spent the rest of the time staying with a friend. You must know at least some people who live abroad. I worked on the Friday and the Monday and a little bit extra on the Saturday to earn back the cost of the journey. Even without working online, you can probably do something very similar. And there's plenty of exploring to do in your own country and nearby without needing to travel all the way to Asia or somewhere else that will cost more money. So you can have that traveling lifestyle without being a rich CEO. In fact, it's much easier. Likewise, you might dream of having the perfect idyllic house. But again, you don't need to be rich from your job to get there. Instead, why not just focus on making the very most out of a relatively modest sized property? And this can be more successful than you probably expect. For example, if you want your home to look a lot more beautiful, one of the best things you can do is to simply remove items of decorating. Now, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but when you reduce your clutter a lot, you'll find that it's much easier to keep tidy. What's more is that the average value of your belongings will go up. So throw out 50% of your decorative items and you'll be left with only the very best things that you couldn't part with, resulting in a much more beautiful looking home. Likewise, sometimes it takes just one stunning feature to make your home truly special and unique. How about saving all your money towards a spectacular water feature? Personally, I'm buying a smaller home than I would ideally choose, despite being able to afford more. But for approximately $20,000, I'll be adding an office pod to the garden. It's a stunning, modern 2.5 by 2.5-meter office that is made from renewable materials and has large double glazed windows looking outside. It's a stunning feature that will increase the value of the property and that I'll be able to work in while the rain hammers on the glass outside. The perfect home without being rich. And often, if you really think about your dreams, you might surprise yourself. My friend recently quit a high paying job building defensive weapons for a startup that sold to the military. Instead, he became a park ranger. Why? Because he loves exercise, loves being outside, and he's fascinated by bugs. Go figure. But he's much happier now on a smaller salary and he can't wait to get into work every day. I could personally see myself loving being a tree surgeon. Every day is a high adrenaline adventure. I've been promoting the idea of quitting a job and becoming a park ranger or a rubbish collector a fair bit now, and understandably, some people watching this might be a little perplexed. If you're a motivated type A personality, then perhaps you can't stand the idea of being a rubbish collector or working for a nature reserve. But here's the thing. You can get your sense of progress and your sense of satisfaction outside of work. My sister did an art degree and loves creating sculptures out of paper. She was even hired to make an advert for a prominent musical artist. Now she works in telesales. Is she happy doing that? Well, yes, because she still makes art as a hobby, sells it on the side, and gets a real sense of reward from that. She feels like she's making progress and it has nothing to do with her job. Likewise, she's making an additional income from having another source of revenue. Again, you can do the same thing. Want to be a music artist? Well, the best way to accomplish that in this day and age is to get onto YouTube and start building a following. This is much easier and will give you satisfaction and reward right away. Or maybe you'd love to be an author. Great. Find a job that doesn't take over your life and then use the extra time to write your killer novel. You can always publish it yourself on Kindle or using a print on demand service like Lulu later on. And if it's just some extra money you need, then you could run a side business as a reseller on eBay. You could cut people's hair or you could teach the piano. You could even let your room to students for a few weeks of the year or use Airbnb. There are countless ways that you can make more money that don't involve working longer or taking on a ton of stressful responsibility in your current career. And there are other reasons that wealth doesn't equal income too. For example, you can often save a lot of money just by making changes to your lifestyle, and this will often be enough to increase your overall wealth. Now, that might mean that you stop drinking coffee in the morning. That's $3 5 days a week, which is $15 a week, which is $60 a month, which is $720 a year, aka a cheap staycation, right? But with some savvy budgeting, you can probably be much richer. But it's not about that. It's about first thinking what you want from life and then making the steps to get it. Oh, and actually, one of the easiest ways to become a lot wealthier is to move somewhere that's poorer. This is super simple if you work online. It means you can take your current salary somewhere where a house costs half the price and you'll get much more for your money. On what I make now, I'm struggling to get the house I want with my wife. But if I were to move to Lanzarote, I could buy a house in cash that would have 3 bedrooms, a pool, and a roof terrace. And I could spend my days saving up huge wads of cash ready to return to the UK in 3 years' time to buy a mansion here. Now, that's not the right course for me, but it could be for you.